In this lesson, we're going to continue talking about multiplying polynomials. We're going to look at two ways that you can multiply polynomials. The first way is when you multiply a binomial times a binomial. And to do this, we use what we call the FOIL method. FOIL is an acronym that stands for first, outside or outer, inside or inner, and last. So we're going to apply the FOIL method to multiply these two binomials in the following examples. Example number 1, x plus 2 times x plus 4. So when we talk about the first terms, in this example, it's the first term in each binomial. So that would be x and x. When we talk about outer or outside, we're looking at the whole problem. So x and 4 are my outer terms. They're on the outside of my problem. When we talk about inner or inside, we're looking at the two terms in the middle of the whole problem. And then when we talk about our last terms, we're looking at each polynomial separately. So the last term in each binomial. Now, when we apply the FOIL method, remember this is for multiplying binomials, so we multiply these terms. When I multiply my first terms, x times x, I get x squared. When I multiply my outer terms, x times 4, I get a positive 4x. When I multiply my inner terms, 2 times x, that is 2x. And when I multiply my last terms, 2 times 4 is a positive 8. When performing the FOIL method, you'll see that every time you do it, these two terms here in the middle will always need to be combined. So I can bring down my x squared. 4x plus 2x is 6x, and bring down the plus 8. So when I multiply x plus 2 times x plus 4, I get x squared plus 6x plus 8. Taking a look at number 2. Again, I have two binomials, so I do the FOIL method. Multiplying my first terms in each binomial, y times y, that's y squared. And then I multiply my inside terms, my outside terms, y times 1, that's plus y. Then I multiply my inside terms, 5 times y plus 5y. And then I multiply my last terms, 5 times 1, which is plus 5. And then again, you can see in the middle, you can combine these two. So we'll bring down our y squared. Remember, the term y has a 1 in front of it, so that's 1 plus 5, which is 6y, and then bring down that final plus 5. So when I multiply these two, I get y squared plus 6y plus 5. Go ahead and highlight number 3, and let's take a look at number 4. So number 4, we're still looking at two binomials. But as you can see, one of my binomials has a subtraction or a negative 2. We're still going to do the same method. So first terms, x times x is x squared. Outside terms, x times negative 2. So you have to be careful when you have subtraction. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. Inside terms, 5 times x is 5x. And then last terms, 5 times negative 2, which is negative 10. So I still need to combine the 2 in the middle. So we'll bring down our x squared. Be careful when you combine the 2 in the middle. That's negative 2 plus 5, which is a positive 3y. And bring down your negative 10. So when I multiply x plus 5 times x plus 2, I get x squared plus 3y minus 10. That should be an x. I'm not sure where a y came in. That should be an x. Go ahead and highlight 5 and 6 on this row. On the next row, go ahead and highlight 7 and 8, and let's take a look at 9 together. So number 9, I still have 2 binomials, but if you notice, one of your terms in your first binomial has a coefficient. So we have to remember our rules for when we're multiplying with coefficients. We're still going to follow the same method, the FOIL method, where we multiply our first, outside, inside, and last. So multiplying our first terms, 2x times x is 2x squared. Our outside terms, 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. Our inside terms, 1 times x is a positive x. And our last terms, 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. And then we're combining the 2 in the middle, so bring down your 2x squared. Negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9x, and bring down the minus 5. So when I multiply these two, I get 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. So just remember, when you have coefficients, multiply those coefficients first and then use your product rule when multiplying the variables. Go ahead and highlight your next 2 rows, 10 through 15. And then highlight 16 through 21. And we're going to take a look at number 22 together. So on number 22, you have x plus 4 squared. So this is still the same type of problem, a binomial times a binomial. Now, a common mistake that students tend to make is when the problems are written like this with the squared, what they want to do is take that squared and apply it to everything inside of your parentheses. This is not what you want to do. So what you're going to want to do is start by writing it in expanded form. So this equals x plus 4 times x plus 4, just like the problems we were looking at. Then apply the FOIL method. So first, x times x is x squared. Outside, x times 4 is 4x. Inside, 4 times x is 4x. And last, 4 times 4 is 16. Then combining the 2 in the middle, and you get x squared plus 8x plus 16 for your final answer. So just make sure that when it's written in a shorter term, you write it in expanded form and then do the FOIL method. So you'll do that same thing on 23 and 24. Next, we're going to look at, we're still multiplying polynomials, but this time you're doing a binomial times a trinomial. So when you multiply a binomial times a trinomial, you're basically doing the distributive property twice and then combining like terms. So what you're going to do is take the first term in your binomial and multiply it times everything in your trinomial. So when we do that, x times x squared is x to the third because of our product rule. X times 3x is 3x squared. And x times negative 6 is negative 6x. Then you're going to take the second term in your binomial and multiply it by each term in your trinomial. and you're going to just keep writing it on with your other terms that you multiplied already. So 4 times x squared is a positive 4x squared. 4 times 3x is a positive 12x. And 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. Then from here, you're just going to combine like terms. Now remember, your answer still needs to be in standard form, so you want to take a look at your highest exponents first. So I have x to the third, and I only have one term that is x to the third. So we're just going to bring that term down. That's going to be first in our answer. Then again, numeric order, we're looking for our x squared. So I have a 3x squared plus 4x squared. So 3 plus 4 is 7x squared. And then looking at just my x terms, so that's negative 6x plus 12x. So negative 6 plus 12 is a positive 6x. And then I only have one constant term, so I'm going to bring that down, negative 24. So when I multiply this binomial times a trinomial, my final answer is x to the third plus 7x squared plus 6x minus 24. So you're going to do that same thing on number 2. Go ahead and highlight number 2 and number 3 and 4. And then highlight 5 and 6, and let's take a look at number 7. So in number 7, the only difference here is you have more coefficients that you want to make sure you're paying attention to. So we're still going to start by multiplying our first term in the binomial times everything in my trinomial, and then multiplying my second term times everything in the trinomial. So when I multiply that first term, I get 15x to the third plus 6x squared minus 18x. Then when I multiply that second term in the trinomial, I get a positive 5x squared plus 2x minus 6. And then I need to combine like terms, looking at my highest exponent first. So that would be 15x to the third. Then looking at my squareds, I have 6x squared plus 5x squared. So 6 plus 5 is 11x squared. And then looking at just my x's, so negative 18x plus 2x. Negative 18 plus 2 is negative 16x. And then bring down my minus 6 for my final answer. Now go ahead and highlight number 8 and highlight the geometric application. Remember, when you're doing the shaded area problems like we've done in a previous lesson, you want to do the area of the whole rectangle minus the area of the non-shaded part.